Imagination in the Taiwan Strait. Imagination in China. Situation in the Taiwan Strait. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Have you ever felt like the air around you has become a little heavier lately? This is not your illusion. This is a silent precursor that the giant wheel of history is about to roll over. Today, let's not talk about those frivolous news. I want to take you to tear apart this veil of tenderness. A brutal truth that may completely overturn the fate of you, me, and even generations in the next few years. Your firewood, rice, oil, and salt are the price of changing gears for your chariot. Let's look at our own lives first. Why is the air suffocating now? Look around you and me. Dozens of resumes have been submitted but have come to nothing. The workplace nightmare of working on a project one day and having the entire department optimized the next day. There is also the 35-year-old red line that hangs over everyone's head and may fall at any time. Look again at your assets and children. The down payment that you have worked so hard to save and the mortgage that you have been holding on to. Seeing the market value shrinking little by little, the wealth that we were once proud of is turning into a pile of reinforced concrete that cannot be taken away. You worry about your children's education every day and plan with great effort, but in the dead of night. Have you ever asked yourself, what if the Iron Curtain of the Great Era really fell? Can the education we are trying so hard to give them now support them to live a decent life in the future? Many people think that this is just a short-term economic cycle that will pass after enduring it and tightening belts. But the extremely cruel reality is, every layoff you feel, every asset shrinkage, and every fear about the future is not a simple economic fluctuation at all. It is a long-planned switching of the country's underlying operating system. Have you ever thought about why the authorities have been so recklessly turning to the left in the past 2 years? Why did the originally vibrant market economy suddenly stall? There is only one answer for the Taiwan Strait. Senior officials know better than anyone that once they take action against Taiwan, they will inevitably face extreme sanctions from the entire Western world. Decoupling and lockdown. You cannot maintain a high degree of openness and a free and active market economy while fighting a war against half the world. In preparation for the coming storm, they must gather power in advance and keep all resources in the hands of the state. The internal circulation and supply and marketing cooperative systems must be forcibly tested. In other words, this huge national tank. We are forcibly shifting from economic development mode to wartime defense mode. Your unemployment, your salary cut, your shrinking wealth. It was not an accident at all, but the jobs of ordinary people were mercilessly crushed by this tank when it violently changed gears. All the hardships you endure today are paying in advance for the grand cause of reunification. The source of all this is across the Taiwan Strait. Fighting without bloodshed, the real Peiping model. Take a closer look at Dongda's overwhelming actions in the past 2 years, military exercises, island siege, and all-pervasive infiltration. All this suffocating sense of oppression points to an extremely ruthless strategy, the Peiping model. Don't think that no war means peace. The so-called Peiping model is an airtight network. It uses absolutely terrifying force to make a blade, and it is stuck on the opponent's neck and slowly tightens. The sea and air were completely blocked, energy was completely cut off, and then all means were used internally to divide and disintegrate and bribe. They don't need to let the city turn into scorched earth, and they don't need to let blood flow into rivers. What they want is a perfectly functioning industrial chain. It is an intact base station and a group of labor force that can continue to create value. They only need to destroy the last line of defense in your heart and make you surrender in despair and hand over everything. If this bloodless suffocation tactic fails, what is hidden behind it is that they don't want to leave the most. But he is also ready to press the destruction button at any time, all-out hot war. Who dares knock on that door? The price of accomplices. For this set of extreme pressure to succeed, there must be a desperate premise. The whole world must shut up. It's like a brutal domestic violence happening behind a closed door. The perpetrators have long since used money, markets, and resources to feed and scare off the neighbors in the entire building. Everyone is pretending to enjoy the scenery, even the world policeman, who used to be the most nosy. Now I just want to count the money in my pocket behind closed doors. But in this deathly silence, Japan's Takaichi Sanai and others suddenly issued a harsh warning. It was like being in a dead community, and suddenly someone picked up a loudspeaker and shouted, "If you dare to make a move, I will break down this door." This not only instantly ignited the glimmer of desperate resistance on the island, but also directly lifted the scale of Dongda's rebellion. Because once the world police are forced to put on their uniforms again and block the door, the black box operation that Dongda has painstakingly managed will go bankrupt in an instant. Countdown pendulum, the door that is about to slam shut. Time has now become the most deadly poison. Whether it is peaceful strangulation or annexation by force, the senior officials know better than anyone else that the window left by history to them is. It is closing with a bang at a speed visible to the naked eye. Check out this heart-stopping timeline. November 2026, U.S. midterm elections. If Trump, who only thinks about transactions, falls into the quagmire of domestic paralysis, from 2027 to 2028, it will become the most dangerous and deadly golden vacuum period. If we draw a red circle on the calendar and combine the cold weather data with the U.S. military's deployment rules, from mid to late December to January of the following year, the typhoon has dissipated and the sea is calm, and the U.S. military is in a period of relaxed defense for handover at the end of the year. From June to July every year, typhoons ravage U.S. military bases in the Philippines. The Taiwan Strait is suitable for launching a thunderous landing. When these favorable circumstances coincide with the inner clock of a leader who desires control, it would no longer be an ordinary calendar, but a countdown to death hanging over everyone's heads. The abyss of power and personal destiny. Don't use the kindness of ordinary people to speculate on the abyss of power. Today, when biotechnology makes longevity no longer an excuse, the fanatical obsession with the eternal kingdom is enough to swallow up all reason. Chinese people always have a sad sense of fate and are always looking forward to a promising king. But regaining Taiwan is the one that can make the altar of power last forever. The ultimate sacrifice that can never be liquidated by future generations. Do you think that after conquering Taiwan, we will usher in spring, democracy, and decentralization? Too naive. In order to prevent internal noise and external sanctions, an airtight iron curtain will be completely lowered. By then, the prices, unemployment, and mortgage payments you are complaining about today may all become luxuries. Instead, there will be a highly involuted, the iron barrel era of absolute obedience, dominated by supply and marketing cooperatives and internal circulation. You and me under the mad sands of the times. In the face of such a century-old storm, each of us is as small as dust. We cannot change the direction of the aircraft carrier, nor can we stop the launch of missiles. But dust also has the right to live and live better. Don't be swallowed up by the panic of the times, let alone take any chances. Just like building the most rigorous system architecture, your family, your assets, your children's future, there must be no fatal single point of failure. When all your wealth and life are tied to a single market and a single policy that is about to have a super earthquake, once the main server crashes, you don't even have a chance to recover the data. Start planning your plan B immediately, diversify your chips, and look for a safer haven. Protect the people you really care about. I hope this cruel deduction can serve as a warning light for you on the eve of this turmoil. If you feel that this issue touched you, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with the people you care about. See you next time.